Criminal referrals. That is what is being proposed. That is being proposed by one senator named Anna Paulina Luna. Anna Paulina Luna is proposing criminal referrals for these Democrat mayors that are not doing the things that's in the best interest of the people. Have y'all subscribed to the Patreon yet? Make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's get into it, y'all.
Chair now recognizes Ms. Luna from Florida.
Mayor Wu, does the Boston Trust Act restrict communication with federal immigration authorities regarding individuals' immigration status, yes or no?
We do not collect immigration status in law enforcement.
I'd just like to point out, and Mr. Chairman, if I could enter the Boston Trust Act into the record. Mr. Chairman.
Without objection.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you. On page, or let's see, section 4AA, a law enforcement official and employment of the city department, agency, or commission shall not, and then A, inquire of an individual on his or her immigration status. Under Title 8, U.S. Code subsection 1373 stipulates that local governments cannot prohibit or restrict communication with federal immigration authorities regarding individuals' immigration status, so your enforcement of this act is in direct violation of that statute. Can you please confirm?
That is not
Thank
the
you,
truth.
ma'am. That's a U.S. code. I don't know about you, but U.S. code does not lie.
We do not ask about
Mayor
immigration
Johnson, I'm not
status, and that is
talking
what
to you anymore.
makes us
Next
safe as a
question,
city.
Mayor Johnston, you said in your testimony that the first step you took after illegal aliens arrived was to provide them with housing. Is that correct, yes or no?
Folks that were on the streets freezing to death, we gave access to shelter. Yes, we did.
Thank you. Not to be rude here, but you have a good understanding of what the definition of harboring is, correct?
I do.
Okay. For those that might not, harboring means to knowingly or recklessly provide shelter or place to stay for an illegal alien. And according to Title 8 of U.S. Code subsection 1324, that is also a federal crime. Just to be clear, did you also say that you would be willing to go to jail to stop deportation efforts?
I did say that I'd be willing to stand up for all of our residents, and the context was that was the point at which the administration was threatening to deploy the U.S. military to streets of our cities to
Okay.
pull kids out of schools and churches,
Thank
so we
you.
were worried about that.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Chairman, I'd like to enter into the record an article from CBS.
Without objection, so ordered.
Thank you. In this, it says, Johnston said
Hey, she cooking, ain't she?
earlier this week that he's willing to use civil disobedience and, if necessary, going to jail to stop deportations. My final question would be for you, Mr. Mayor Johnson. Do you believe that Chicago's welcoming city ordinance encourages illegal aliens to enter the United States, specifically into Chicago? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. So you don't believe that banning the transfer of individuals into ICE custody for the purpose of civil immigration enforcement encourages illegal immigration into Chicago? Or how about agencies, sorry, one second, or agents not being able to stop, arrest, or detain individuals based solely on their immigration status or administrative warrant?
So we comply with all laws, local, state, and federal.
To me, after this line of questioning, it's very clear that these policies that you have all implicated are active and alive and well in your cities, are in direct violation with U.S. Title 8 Code subsection 1324, and it is a federal offense. But you all speak about a broken immigration system, and yet here you guys are aiding and abetting in that entire process. I want to be very clear about something. Open border policies, which is something that you guys are talking about, hurts people on both sides, meaning the people that are coming here illegally and then American citizens as well. I do not think you guys are bad people, but I think that you are ideologically misled, which is why, unfortunately, based on your responses, I'm all going to be criminally referring you to the Department of Justice for investigation. And as soon as I leave here, these will be going over to Pam Bondi. I'm not doing that in an effort to bully you guys, but I do believe that your policies are hurting the American people, and you can make that known with the evidence that you can present to the Department of Justice. But if you guys continue doing what you're doing, you're not going to help anyone. You're going to hurt more people, and that's exactly why I'm tired of it. The American people are tired of it. And Chairman, I yield my time.
Would you yield your last minute?
Yes, sir.
Mayor Adams, you were one of the first mayors in what the media refers to as a blue city, typically, that came out and raised concerns about the influx of illegals pouring into the city of New York. Could you answer the question, what what that did to New York City from a budgetary standpoint. Let's not even talk about crime or anything. Let's just talk about from a budgetary, the burden on the citizens of New York City.
As I indicated, Mr. Chairman, we spent $6.9 billion, and the long-term impact of that is extremely significant. After COVID, we had a large number of children who was chronically absent. We could have taken $200 million of that and dealt with that. We have a real mental health crisis in our city. We could have spent hundreds of millions of dollars on that. And so the long-term impact of spending $6.9 billion is going to have serious ramification on the future of New York City. So it's more than just what happened last year or this year. It is what is going to impact us long term.
Now, if you want to talk about systematic oppression, if you want to talk about a system being against you, Mayor Adams, who is the black sheep of this whole group right now, he's being included because he is a sanctuary city mayor against his will, because New York statutes says that he can't declare or undeclare New York City as a sanctuary city, but he was a part of the Go Along, Get Along gang when they decided that they wanted to align with the Biden administration's agenda. And he was over there clapping his hands when migrants was coming off the bus because he thought that New York City was going to benefit from the federal government continuing to give them money to the tune of billions of dollars, while at the same time increasing a population, which ultimately would have helped usurp Trump, because then they would have had more voters on the rolls had they really been able to do what they really wanted to do, especially if Biden would have won another election, or Kamala Harris for that matter. However, Eric Adams is the black sheep on the panel, which he is the only person that is going to answer this question logically. He is the only person that is willing to tell the truth, because, the Justice Department has now dropped his case, and he is working with ICE and Tom Homan to be able to detain illegal migrants that are arrested and ultimately end up on Rikers Island. And so because he is actually doing the thing, willingly, unwillingly, doing the thing that the American people asked for, voted for, and think that is best across both sides of the aisle, because ironically enough, if you talk to a liberal and you pose the question differently, they won't answer it honestly. You know how I tell y'all all the time, you can ask anybody anything, or you can talk to anybody and tell them anything you want to tell them if you tell them the right way? How I tell women often at times on After Hours or in the past on the Anton Daniels channel when I've said, hey guys, ladies, you don't have to argue back and forth. Your femininity is your superpower. And you can say, hey baby, could you please do this for me? But, oh man, I love you, I appreciate you. Or if you get up in his face and you say, hey, why you ain't take that trash out? You're going to get two different results. You're going to get two different responses, and you might find yourself thrown out on your ear in the cold going to get a shelter. And if you ask liberals or people that support the Democratic Party a question differently, they'll give you a different answer. If you say, why didn't Kamala Harris and Joe Biden, and why is these sanctuary cities supporting illegal migration into this country? They're going to answer the question and say something like, well, everybody deserves this chance. And this whole country was built on immigration. And most of the people over here are migrants. Shoot, white people took it over from the Indians. And they're going to say all of this crazy stuff. They'll answer it crazily. But if you say, hey, man, do you support illegal migrants taking money from taxpayers to take care of their children? No, I don't support that. We should have been got reparations. If they would stop doing all of this, our community center would be open. If they would stop funding migrants, New York City done spent $7 billion. Shoot, that could have went towards my reparations. They will tell you and answer you the question completely different. All you got to do is frame it differently. If you ask them, do they support a party that is against or is for men and, the alphabet community and people supporting the trans community, I mean, I don't see why they impeding into other people's places. That ain't my point to say. Okay, cool. Do you support a man jumping on your daughter's basketball team and dunking on her head? No, I don't support that. See, I don't even know why that's a thing. They don't really support it. They're the most hypocritical party, this current version of it of all time. But all you got to do is pose a question differently and you'll get different results. That's what you're seeing from Eric Adams, and that's why he's a black sheep. That's why the Biden administration didn't like him, because the rest of those mayors who he was supposedly aligned with, they was all on the same team. And so while they're answering the question, acting like they didn't say what they want to say, especially Brandon Johnston over in Chicago, Eric Adams is saying, listen, man, it's significant ramifications and the long-term effects of us funding things for migrants instead of funding our community, instead of funding children that are absent from school, instead of funding autism and kids that's on the spectrum, instead of us bolstering up the police presence and support and all of this other type of stuff. Instead of us pouring into our community, we had to pour it into these guys, and Biden didn't give us our money back, and the long-term ramifications are going to be catastrophic. Catastrophic. They don't like Eric Adams because Eric Adams is telling you the truth, because he is no longer aligned truly with the Democratic Party. See students' perspective, baby. Our ability to be able to break it down. Tell your mama, tell your grandmama ain't even that smart. Stop acting like she that smart. See students' perspective. We getting it. We getting it over here on the Millionaire Morning Show.